Hello, this is the 247th edition of Catch of the Day, available on the Branch Talk YouTube channel. Today we're going to continue reading from a book written by Doug Mitchell entitled The Four Carpenters, The Ensign, The Time of Jacob's Trouble, and The First Deliverance. Starting midsection of page 103, we read, Nineveh, you remember, repented and proclaimed a fast, and even the cattle were aware that Nineveh had repented. But Jonah did not know it. Jonah must have been proud and more concerned with bringing his prophecy to pass than he was with the salvation of the city. For he mourned over the withering of the gourd, which is just a plant, rather than rejoicing over the repentance of Nineveh. This should be a great object lesson to us. In carrying our message of Elijah, we should not be anxious for the execution of Ezekiel 9 in the church, but rather we should be anxious for the souls of the people. Likewise, in bearing our message of Jonah, we should not be anxious for a serious fall, but rather for her repentance and salvation. The message we have from the scriptures concerning Nineveh says that Nineveh is to be overthrown. In fact, all the prophets who speak of Nineveh or Assyria say that she is to be overthrown. Yet the type and other scriptures say she is to be saved. It is Nahum's prophecy. The message contained in track 14, War News forecast, that is to bring salvation to the antitypical Assyria. She will not be saved from the nations not defeating her, for they will, but in her defeat she will be brought to repentance and be reconciled to God and be saved. 11 Symbolical Code 8.11 and 12. Deuteronomy 4, verses 26 to 31. I call heaven and earth to witness against you this day, that ye shall soon utterly perish from off the land, whereunto ye go over Jordan to possess it. Ye shall not prolong your days upon it, but shall utterly be destroyed. And the Lord shall scatter you among the nations, and ye shall be left few in number among the heathen, whither the Lord shall lead you. And there ye shall serve gods, the work of men's hands, wood and stone, which neither see nor hear, nor eat nor smell. But if from thence thou shalt seek the Lord thy God, thou shalt find him. If thou seek him with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, when thou art in tribulation, and all these things are come upon thee, even in the latter days. If thou turn to the Lord thy his voice, for the Lord thy God is a merciful God. He will not forsake thee, neither destroy thee, nor forget the covenant of thy fathers, which he sware unto them. Here Moses predicted the disintegration of the kingdom then expected, and the dispersion of the people of Israel throughout the nations, the exact situation in which we are today. He also herein predicted our visitation in the latter days, our time, the time we as Christians find ourselves as fugitives and sinners among the nations, the time we are visited by inspiration and are advised to turn to the Lord, to be obedient unto his voice, and if we obey, he will hear us and save us. We should therefore now give ear to his voice, and whatsoever he commands we must do, if we want his blessings upon us. Remember, we anciently lost the kingdom because of disobeying his commandments and statutes, and it is certain that he will not take us back into it, so long as we neglect to take heed of his voice. And here is the voice which rings in our ears today as loudly as it did in the ears of the people in Moses' day. 2 TG 37.16 and 17. Conclusion. Herein we have reviewed the many aspects of what exactly it is that brings an end of the times of the Gentiles and enables the saints to return to the land of promise. We have found that it is not any Gentile power that causes the last power that will control the land, the Assyrian, to flee from there, but rather it is the Lord himself through his Spirit-appointed servants and the glorious truths they have been given that purify the saints and makes them the ensign through which God will mightily work to bring an end to the times of the Gentiles and restore the promised land to the faithful remnant. Were it any Gentile power that accomplishes the mighty work the four carpenters are to accomplish, then the world could attribute it to others than God himself and his triumphant truth. The incurable bruise and grievous wound is the kingdom lost. Though the bruise is incurable, yet they are to be delivered. Only a miracle can heal an incurable bruise. Just before God's people are delivered, they will be painfully aware that there is no possibility or no possible way for them to be delivered. But a miracle is to take place. Then all will know that God alone wrought their deliverance. 13 Symbolical Code 1, 2.13. The first miracle to take place is the full conversion of the saints. The reformed, lifeless bodies receiving the spirit wind that comes from the four winds, that they may come to life and stand up a mighty army in truth and in righteousness. Ezekiel 37, verse 7 to 10. The consecration that conversion brings the saints enables them to cast away their idols, thereby causing the Assyrian to fall, and that during the time of Jacob's trouble. Jeremiah 30 verse 7. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. Though it is designated as the time of Jacob's trouble, yet there is no trouble like it in the respect that none is so great. In this prophecy, God is revealing that before God's people return to their father's land, there shall be a time of trouble that will turn all faces pale. It will be a time of trembling, of fear, of trouble such as never was. Trouble is coming. It is not going to be a small trouble. Why is it called Jacob's time of trouble? Jacob met his trouble while he was returning to the promised land. Now Jacob is to return again to the promised land with all his household, and again he is to meet with great trouble. That is why it is called the time of Jacob's trouble. The trouble is to be exceedingly great. Some of us may think we have hardship now, but the fact is that we do not know what hardship is. We cannot now comprehend or even imagine how great the trouble will be. Alas, for the day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. The trouble actually is what saves him. Then the time of trouble is coming for the good of the latter-day Jacobites. It is coming to deliver them through the most difficult time. It is the man who has the greatest faith in God that will fear the least. The more faith one has, then the greater will be his deliverance. 13 Symbolical Code 1, 2.9 and 10. Take care.